Hey guys, back part 3, and let's go ahead and let me go ahead and zoom in and let's take a look at our current document. So as you can see, if you had this is what your HTML is, this is what your HTML looks like. So Austin, age, I am 21, and my username, what is my Twitter username? Tweetmonster999. Yeah, something like that. I think it's tweetmonster999. Don't judge me. I made this like back in 8th grade, so yeah. So that's cool and all, right? But let's see, 21. That's cool. And as I said, tweet monster, blah 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 blah. All right. Anyway, we press submit, and nothing's happening. And that's where JavaScript comes into play. Woo woo, JavaScript. All right. And what we'll be doing is let's go ahead and open up our IDE and let's go to our scripts. Okay, so you're probably wondering, Austin, what are you doing? What exactly happening? So what are we doing? As I said before, we're wanting to have Austin replace this, 21 replace that, and TweetMonster replace this. How do we go about doing this? And this is where JavaScript comes into play, and this is actually where we get into the fun stuff, and I'm very positive you guys will love this. Okay, so starting off, what we need to do is, well, I'm going to do some interesting stuff. I'm going to type some code and I'm going to explain it afterwards. Okay, so first off, better yet, let's go ahead and do something. All right, so let's go ahead and do some pseudocode, and let's go ahead and plan out what we want to do before we actually just go in and just go guns blazing and typing out and just create everything. So what exactly do we want to do? As we said before, we want to grab everything that's inside those input boxes, right? So we're going to do input box values, and we want to put those inside our empty blanks, right? Empty blanks, and well, once we put them inside there, let's take input box values and display them. And I apologize, let's see. So I want to actually grab our empty blanks, okay? So we're going to grab empty blanks. Alright, so what we're doing is that we're grabbing our input box values, we're grabbing our empty blanks, and we're taking the input box values and displaying them. Well, how in the world are we going to do all this? That's easy, don't worry. All right. So starting off, let's go ahead and do something here, okay? Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start with our submit button. It sounds really weird, but everything's going to be centered around our submit button because our submit button is what's actually going to trigger our logic. So when we press submit, we're going to take everything that's inside here, and we're going to take everything, all these blanks or whatever, all the span tags with the IDs and whatnot, and then we're going to actually take whatever's in here and display them on top of these blanks. So, and we want to do that when we click submit. Alright, so when we click submit, we want to go ahead and trigger all of that's happening. Alright, so first off, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and grab our submit button, okay? By ID, and we want to go inside our and we want to grab our submit button. So you're probably wondering, Austin, this is really new. Alright, what exactly is all of this? Well, first off, I want to say let is essentially like ES6 syntax. It's the new way to declare a var. There's a lot more that we can honestly go into, but I'm not going to for the sake of shortening this video. But essentially, we're just creating a variable, and we're pretty much calling that variable submit, right? We are. And within doing so, well, what exactly do we want this variable to be equal to, right? What do we want to assign it to? We want to go inside our document, and we want to assign it, we want to actually get an element by its ID, and the name of that ID is submit button. So essentially what we're doing is that we're creating a variable called submit, and we're assigning it to anything with the ID submit button. All right, and what exactly has submit button? Ha, boom, our submit button. I'm a man, who would have guessed? All right, and now that we have that, let's go ahead and get this logic. All right, let's go ahead and get all this logic down. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and type something, and let's see, add event listen. Can I spell that? Oh gosh. All right, listener, click, and then I'm gonna do event. Let's do this arrow function sentence. Let's do that, and then boom, boom. All right, and something new too. Boom. What exactly is happening here? Okay, so well, pretty much what's happening is that we've taken that variable submit, and we've assigned it to add an event listener. And then pretty much what's happening is we're saying, hey, on this specific variable, for example, as I said, we have our submit button assigned to it. When so all we're really doing is just listening for an event. All right, and what event are we listening to? Click, right? So we're essentially just listening for the click event, and then we want to create a function, all right, that has an event on it. All right, now we don't necessarily need this for this exercise. No, we don't. And let's see here. We're going to we're going to call this variable name, and then we're going to document dot get element by ID, and then I think it was called, let's see, person name, and we're going to actually grab the value. All right, and I'll explain all of this. All right, just give me a moment. Document dot get element by ID, person, age, let's username equal document dot get element by ID, person username, okay, dot value. So you're probably wondering, whoa, what exactly is happening here? All right, so let's go ahead and go over all of this real quick before we continue. Actually, let me see, grabbing, and this is actually where we're grabbing our input box, our input values. Okay, boop, boop, there we go, awesome. All right, so what exactly is happening here? Okay, so we essentially have anything. So pretty much when we assign our submit button or whatnot, all we're really doing is saying, hey, all right, when we click our submit button, we want to listen. Well, essentially what we're doing, we're just triggering a click event. Okay, so on our submit button, when we click it, we want all of this to execute. So what exactly is this? Now you're probably wondering, why does this have dot value and this doesn't? And pretty much what's interesting about this is that in order for you to get anything inside an input box, or input text box, or just sort of an input element like this, you have to actually assign it. You have to actually put a dot value at the end of it. Unlike with this isn't. You don't necessarily have to put a dot value because this is just, it's not an input element. So honestly, whenever you want to grab text or anything out of any type of input element or anything like that, all you're really doing is just saying, hey, I want to get the element by its ID. Cool. All right, and the ID's name, or the ID that I want to get, is person name. All right, but since it's an input box, we want to get the value that's inside that input box, which is cool. Kind of weird, but nothing really crazy. So, as I said, oh, whoops. Let me go ahead and fix that real quick. Ah, no. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so next up, what we need to do is, what I want you guys to do is, I want you guys to pause this video real quick, and I want you to grab all of these IDs right here, okay? So I want you guys to pause this and try it out yourself. All right, sweet. Hopefully you guys paused the video and everything's going really well so far. As you can see, this is the code that I generated, and it doesn't have to look exactly like mine, but hopefully the logic is you're assigning a variable and you're actually grabbing, and that variable is assigned to an element that the ID that you're grabbing it from. All right. And next up, well, hopefully you all understand that. But next up, what we're going to do is we're going to take all those input box values, and we're going to display them. And how do we do that? This is interesting. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and type some code again. I'm going to say name blank space dot inner HTML equals name. Whoa, what's happening here? Well, as I said, we're taking our input box values and we're displaying them. So as you can see, we grabbed our empty blanks, which is this right here. We want to get inside, we want to get our inner HTML, and we want to pretty much replace our inner HTML with whatever the value of whatever variable after this is, whatever after this we're assigning it to this variable. So all we're doing is saying, hey, I want to take our name blank space variable, and I want to get, all right, so we've gotten that ID, we've gotten that element, but we want to get inside, we actually want to alter the HTML inside of it, and we do that by doing inner HTML. And we want to reassign that inner HTML to whatever we want. I mean, I could say fluffy bunnies, and when we click submit button, fluffy bunnies will show up. All right. So, but all we're really doing is just reassigning it to the value of what our input boxes are. All right. And same thing for age blank space. All right. Dot inner HTML equals, what is it? Age. Boom. All right. And then username blank space dot inner HTML equals username. All right. And let's take a look at this. All right, guys. Boom. Boop. Actually, could have just refreshed right there. Boom. There we go. All right. Let's refresh, and let's take a look. All right. 21. Username. Tweet monster 999. All right. And let's press submit and see what happens. Boom. Your name is Austin. You are 21 years old, and your Twitter username is tweetmonster999. We just created our first really basic JavaScript application. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And actually, for bonus, what I'd love for you guys to do is let's eliminate all these IDs, and I want you guys to actually use classes, because IDs get really ugly and become very cumbersome. And what I want you guys to do instead is, just for bonus, is not only just style it, but also, instead of using IDs and grabbing the element by its ID, I want you guys to use query selector. And I want you to do some research on it. Try to see what you can do. Try to refactor all of this and utilize query selector instead. And on the front end, eliminate all these IDs and see if you can do something else. You know, for your input boxes, you don't necessarily need IDs. You can actually do some interesting stuff with this. And for your spans, use classes or see if you can do something different. All right, and that's my challenge for you guys. Okay, hopefully you enjoyed this really short 3-part video, and please tell me what you think. If you guys loved it, didn't, just put it in the comment section below. If you want to see a certain project built, let me know. Okay, sweet. Thank you, and you guys have a wonderful day.